seconds. While he's doing
Hold
that,
on, hold on a second, Chuck. I need about 2 minutes.
all right, I figured I'd go ahead and hit the risk disclaimer here. There is a very high degree of risk involved in trading. DTI Trader and all individuals affiliated with the site assume no responsibility for your trading and investment results. In other words, you and you alone are responsible for the decisions you make. Always consider risk when considering your trading decisions. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. And I think that just about wraps up the main point of the risk disclaimer. Of course, it is here if you want to read it in detail. Now, if we go ahead and push on to our next slide, I think that's we're getting into the opinion, or do we have a little bit more? That would be the my opinion part. So while we're waiting for Tom, let me tell you mine. The S&P future is really where I make my hay. And I'm looking at this market, which is currently trading at 68.60. The one thing that really stands out to me, I go back to those reference bars that Tom always talks about. Make sure you go to the TNT channel on Telegram. You'll see them posted there. The Genesis bar today rallied up to 68.8775, and that was really the last big push for the S&P. Maybe we're going to get one later, but that was the after the morning push to see if the market could become something different than what it was. It was moving down through most of the overnight, and thanks for that, Jonathan, posting up that Genesis bar. You can see that 68.8775 again, that Telegram channel.
Hey,
Here's a
folks.
neat little thing, and Tom, I don't know if you're aware of this, but 68.89 quarter is the midpoint for the month of February. So the Genesis bar trying to climb up stopped just short of the midpoint, which means we stayed in the lower half of the range. And I think that kind of tells you a little bit about what this market is up to now. We'll see if it can change that. But for the time being, we're in the lower half of the range of the month, and the open is in the upper half.
And what does that typically tell you about a bar chart?
Uh, that's telling me market's not positive.
Right. It's telling you that we got some maybe some danger ahead,
For
right?
the equity markets, yes. Now, if we look at metals, they're going to look a little bit different. I believe with most of the metals, you're going to be well above the midpoints. You are in the upper portion of that range. So, Tom, you getting a lot of people focused into the metals over the course of the past month, and really way before that, turns out to be a pretty smart choice.
Well, I was talking to a customer, a very nice compliment. He said, Tom, he said, I never thought about the market the way you did it. He said, the stuff that everybody else was buying, you were avoiding, and the stuff that people wasn't talking about, you were getting into. He said he had one of the best months he's ever had with that change of thinking, which I thought was good. Okay. I thought that's good. That's what we're trying to accomplish. You know, the big issue is a lot of people end up losing money when they don't follow the process or they overload their boat, if that makes any sense. Okay. But I think, we've been staying pretty strong on this silver and gold. It's been very volatile. So, if you got a big contract, it'll scare the heck out of you. If you got a small contract, you probably stay within your plan. Does that make sense? Not overloading your boat?
Yeah, definitely. Sean makes a point here. So is this a big bad signal? I don't think it's a big bad signal. It's slightly negative. When we look at like with the S&P, for instance, Tom, we opened the year at 6902. We're trading 40 points below that. 40 points on
Yeah,
the
we're within the
6,000 point
noise zone.
index.
What Chuck is referring
Yeah.
to, the noise zone is about 100 points above, 100 points below, and we're sort of in the noise zone. But you got a couple things you got to consider. You can't just look at the market with a telescope. You got to look with a broad lens, and
Yeah.
that broad lens tells you right now. If you ask somebody that's been following the market for a long time, they're going to tell you, hey, the leadership, which was the Mag 7, has been, on a flat tire. And a lot of people had some big gains in their portfolio that was sucked out because they didn't exercise what I would call stop loss procedures. Okay. I mean, I mean, if you look at some of these stocks like Microsoft, which has been a stable for years, it's down. I don't know what it is. Let me tell you, Microsoft. Just to tell you, let me look at this real quick. It's so interesting to me. Microsoft is down 18.77% for the year. If you got Microsoft in your portfolio, you're hurting. There's not enough covered calls you can sell on that sucker as fast as it fell. That's just an example. My opinion is right now we're in a stage of the market that there's money to be made, but you got to be very judicious how you deploy your capital. Okay. The reason I give you an example, we're at the end of the month. The reason I said I'm circling my wagons for a couple of reasons, because I typically do that at the end of the month, most months anyway, especially when you got this kind of market. But secondly, it's all about trading with the odds. Example, wouldn't it be a lot better to be in cash and watch the first 3 days of the month and put odds in your favor on what's going to be most likely positive tickers for the month of March? Wouldn't it be a lot better to do it that way rather than sit here and the market takes off down today and ends up dropping, and you have to get on your knees and just say, "Let me out, let me out," let me get out even. Now, let me ask somebody a question. Is it true that President Trump's going to talk around 3? Is it true? Anybody confirm that or not? Whether he's talking at 3?
Tom,
Give
I can
everybody a
tell
check.
you at whitehouse.gov/live, they say stay tuned. We'll be live again shortly. So I don't have an exact time on that, but they appear to be planning a live event.
Okay. So John says 3:30. Okay. John, where did you hear 3:30 at? I'm just curious. I'm asking the question for you. Gotcha. Somebody said 3:30. Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen that 3:30 announcement by anybody, but I haven't checked really. I've been busy making sure I got all my accounts in the order they need to be in. Now, what I'd like to do right now, Chuck, is go to a live market.
Yeah, we'll get that live market up in just a second. I want to confirm right here on the president's schedule. We have, let's see, make sure I'm on the right day, Friday, February 27th, 4:35 p.m. Eastern. The president delivers remarks on energy. He'll be at Port of Corpus Christi, Texas.
So you're going to be talking about crude prices?
Most likely, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so let's map out today. Uh, if you go look at the E-mini, I'm just going to stay with the E-mini right here. The E-mini, if you go to the X bar, if you circle the X bar, that's where the market turned into a sell on X right there. That was at 7 a.m. this morning. 7 a.m. this morning. So that was a pretty good sell. We went down to a low of 68.40 on that sell, and then we rallied from 68.40 up to roughly the midpoint of that sell bar. I'm calling X the sell bar. Does everybody see that? Since that time, the market stayed on the defensive on the E-mini. Now, let's go to the NASDAQ futures, which gets into our hedge that we're going to do. If you go to the NASDAQ futures, the sell came actually on RB2, came a little early at 4:30 to 5 this morning, 4:30 to 5 a.m. And then we had the retracement back up to around the top of Genesis. That's what Chuck was talking about, okay? And it's now in a sell. The reason I say it's in the sell, the last two bars are current bar is lower than the previous bar. So I call that a sell. Now it has to break that green bar, which is over after RB3 to go in a sell. So what I'd like to do now is look at a new pocket put going out further. Now, keep in mind, I know that we have pocket puts with 21 days on. So my strategy would be to follow, okay? I would instigate a new pocket put, and I would take the pocket puts that are existing and exit for the end of the day, okay? So let's look at those as Jonathan here, go to a live market. Let's find some out 30 days or more on the QQQ.
Okay, give me just a moment here, Tom. QQQ out 30 days. Excuse me.
You
30
want to
days
show it
would
to us?
be,
Yeah,
it should be flipping over to that now, I think.
yeah, it did.
Okay, good. 30 days. The last day of March is March 31st. That's 32 days out. And it looks like we can do that, no problem.
And what would be our spread that would go for it? And give me the date of expiration.
March the 31st.
Okay, March 31st. And the strikes on the QQQ.
Well, we usually shoot for a 5 wide around 50 cents.
Okay,
It looks like maybe the 555, 550, which is marked at a 52-cent midpoint.
55.50, correct?
Uh-huh.
Long to 55 and short to 50.
Yeah.
All right, that would be the one that I would put on, the new one. The old one, I would exit by the end of the day. So wherever you get for it, instead of losing the whole 50 cents, you take that off the new one. You're really just adding a few extra cents to it to make it happen. That's the pocket put adjustment. Any questions about what I'm talking about and how I'm doing it? The problem with options, and I talk about this all the time, is time decay. And I want to have pocket puts going forward. And rather than keep the same ones, I'd rather have the further out spread because that gives me time to maximize it if they're needed. Yeah, Neil, I would put on a full position there. Maybe what I would do, great question, put on half down, the other half near the close if you want to average it. Depends on how many you do. It's always good to go half in, half out. let me know if you made this trade, and because I want to move on to the next phase of why I wanted to meet. Yeah, Carol, this is a debit spread. Tom says he's in at 52 cents. Where will we track this trade in TNT, Jonathan?
Yeah, TNT and live trade with T-Buzz.
Okay, Rob, I would exit it. Oh yes, exit that long call. We said that earlier, Rob. Exit that out. Exit out of that now. Did you hear me, Rob? Yeah. Okay. All right. Has everybody got this that wants it? They got a couple ways to put it on. They can put it on now, put half of it on, put the other half on before the close. Okay. All right. I've got another trade I want to do too. TLT.
Okay.
Why would I want to do bonds? One simple reason. So Jonathan, look at 89.90 and see what you could buy that call spread for. 89.90
What's your expiration?
Monday.
Monday, March 2nd, 89.90 is, did I choose the right date? Yeah, it's priced at $1. I can't do that.
Do it 90.91.
90.91 is at 68 cents.
I like it. Do it.
Okay. We'll send that to Anchor as a bonus trade.
Okay. Josh, I want you to type the following out on the slide after we finish this.
What you got?
Okay. Today is the last day of February. I want you to write this out. I have no long option positions outside of gold and silver. And I got the only reason I still have some gold and silver left because I'm up quite a big point. But that's how I'm going into March. I want everybody to see it in print where they'll know what I'm thinking. Everybody got that? Now, you don't have to do what I'm doing, but I like to go into Florida. I like to go into March with a open playbook. Now, the next thing I want to do before we wrap up, I'd like Jonathan to talk about trading in extended hours and how to do it.
David, the target on TLT, a 20% target would be about 81 to 84 cents.
And we go to a blank slide. I just want to cover some of the key elements of trading after 4 o'clock. Might become important, if not tonight, Sunday night. First, you have to have the code EXTO, extended hours overnight. You have to know that the market closes at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Does everybody understand those 2 points about trading stocks overnight? Give me a yes if you understand all that stuff. You're going to put an order in overnight. So let's take an example trade. Let's say that I wanted to buy a stock that I thought might be going up in the after hour. And let's just take a stock like GDX. Now, here's the downside of trading stocks overnight. You can't put a stop in. Does everybody understand that? Give me a yes if you understand that. So basically, you take an overnight risk if you do not get out. But you can get out of any trade you put on after 4 up to 8 o'clock at night. So if let's say hypothetically, I bought GDX. And I said to you, and this is the number I'd use, if GDX stayed above 114.40, which is if I had 500 shares of it, I'd lose 300 bucks if it went down to that level, correct? From 115. But if I got to 8 o'clock tonight and it hadn't gone up like I thought it would, and I didn't want to hold it, I would liquidate it before 8 tonight. That's how you trade stocks at night. How lucrative is it to trade stocks at night? It depends on what stocks, like everything else, when you get in and when you get out. Yes, it trades to 8 o'clock tonight, Jennifer. It opens up Sunday night at 8. Let me ask you a question. If you were long a stock tonight, whenever it closes, and we did attack Iran over the weekend, what do you think would happen to my stock? Depending on what stock it was, it might go up. But if it's a regular stock, not gold or silver, I think for sure it would go down. An oil stock would go up, as Buck just said, too. But here's the problem. You got a big gap from tonight to Sunday. It's better not to be in any stocks going into Sunday night if you knew for sure that they were going to attack. But it doesn't mean after 4 today, if I start seeing money come into GDX, I wouldn't buy it and use that stop of 1440. That's an example. I'd be sure to close it out prior to 8. I'm covering that, and the reason I'm covering it is very simple. You will see the market start forecasting sometime after 3:30 today. The odds are odds of some of these stocks, and you can watch the big ones like Apple, Nvidia, and see where they are at 4, see where they are at 6, to see what the odds are. They might do something. Doesn't mean they have to do something, but that's where the odds go. Buck, I hadn't checked to see if Couchy's got that. Why don't somebody check Couchy and tell us what died? So a lot of people are learning for the first time that stocks are open to 8, and they're learning for the first time they open Sunday night. But that alone was worth doing this session. Now, as far as target on the QQQ, I'd be very happy to make 70%. That'd be 85 cents, 75 to 85 cents. I'd be very happy to make that on that play. Now, if I didn't get to 80 cents and they went to war, I'd cancel that order before Monday. Everybody understand why? Probably going a lot higher. I'd be very happy to make 74, 79 cents on something I paid 50 cents for. Are you glad that I came this time of day to do this kind of stuff? Well, if you are glad, I'm going to play. Here's what we're going to do. Jonathan, let's play the best program for teaching how to make money with stock and stock options. And I say that it takes a little bit of time on Tuesday. It's called Power Program. Next week will be big for Power. It always is at the first of the month. And I've got an offer that lets you come in at little or nothing.
Hey, T-Buzz, I don't have a good recorded on that, but I have a short slide deck for you. It's not very long.
So now I got to give it, huh? Okay. Let's
One
do
second.
it.
All right, there you go.
Risk involved in trading, past performance is not indicative of future results. In my opinion, the market, if you're in the right stuff during February, you got to smile when you end the day. If you're in the wrong stuff, you're crying. When you trade, which one of the following would you choose? A stock that was cheap to buy or a stock to buy that was more expensive but making high? Which one would you choose, A or B? What I described is what I believe is the most disciplined program guide that teaches discipline, perfectly set up to take advantage of hot months we're about to start in March. We're talking about the power play strategy. It works on Tuesday through Friday. Here's how it works. We select 5 stocks that fit the power metric. These stocks are delivered to you, the subscriber, via email and text around 11 o'clock. A little background to Tuesday power play. If you know that stocks sell off on Monday and then go higher on Tuesday through Friday, that alone tells you there's some odds to play, isn't it? Check out this report. It always goes back to 27, returns by the day of the week. Just look at that. Pretty solid strategy based on that alone. Now you got a stock picker. When we first discovered this course, I've been working with Jeff and John to create an algorithm to find us the strongest and weakest stocks to look at on Tuesday. It does through a lot of factors to formulate the power zone. This T-Buzz study for specific entry and exit prices goes out on Tuesday. And we take the observation day, which is Monday, and the outstanding results from this algo. A lot of great wins on stocks. I typically don't trade, but they set up based on the underlying research and the underlying setups. Members love it. As Alan said, it makes Tuesday his favorite day of the week. Sherry likes the skill, the teaching she gets from it, the master classes, and the patience required for this program. If you're short of patience, this will teach you patience. Whitney loves it, doing power plays. Bill thinks it's a no-brainer. Join. Tuesday power play. It's in a league of its own. Learn the proper way to trade stock options. Let me explain how it works. Every Tuesday morning when odds are right, I will send you 4 Tuesday power plays. You get the entry number, how much we're going to risk, whether you want to do the stock or the option criteria. There's no guessing. Brand new trade ideas every single week when the odds are in our favor. Listen, learn, and watch. Apply what you learn in the power program to every trade you do. That's the real benefit. You never miss a beat with the notification we have in place. The Power Play portfolio will be tracked in our online portfolio, but you're getting a new member today, you're getting training, you're getting a lot of great things. Subscription contains over 35 hours of live market education. Education, I believe in, you'll get better. If you're losing money, you need to renew your vow to study and educate yourself. This is what you can learn to educate yourself online. Only flash meetings, invited to join. Today, power plays also include strategy to apply to up markets, down markets, or sideways market. If you listen tonight, we'll open this up for 50 and 50 people only. So make sure you don't wait too long, miss out. Type yes in the chat if you're ready to get started. Drop that link. 1 month. How about that? Finish out the quarter of March learning the correct way to trade options. Is that cool or what? $97 for a month. Works out to about $2 a trade. Sign up now. That's it, folks. And what Adam's going to do, did we record all this?
Yes, we did, Tom. We sure did.
Why don't we replay it and I'll be closer to the market's close and come back and make some comments if I need to. If that's
Okay.
okay for everybody.
Yeah.
So
it'd
get
be fine.
signed up and I'll try to get back in here 3:30 to 3:40. That 10-minute period, I'll try to be back. We're gonna put a timer up here where I can do it.
Yeah, sure will. Just give me a moment to get all that situated and then be back.